Hi. I don't think I have hesitated so much to press record before in my life. I had a meeting this morning 2 hours ago, and you can see I'm still emotional about it. So bear with me. This is going to be a bit gritty. And what happened this morning, I was meeting with Steve, who's my agent in New York. I've mentioned him a few times before. And Steve and I have been working together for a year now. This morning, Steve held up a bit of a mirror for me to reflect back what he's seeing in me, which is, to put it neatly, he sees me hiding, he sees me staying small, and he sees me letting you down by putting out a message of finding proof for strength and for courage and growth, and I'm not doing that with myself. So one of the things that this reflects for me is that there's a vulnerability that I have not been sharing, and there's an openness that I've not been sharing. And I guess that's, we talk very glibly about the vulnerability that Brene Brown talks about, and I have had all my shields up. I have had all my defenses up. I've been able to talk in quite a sanitized way about some of the challenges that I've faced in my business, some of the challenges I've faced personally, but I've not been able to be honest and open in sharing what that experience has actually been like. There was a video I posted about 12 months ago which talked through the changes in my team, and it was quite an emotional video, and I let you in, and that's probably the last time I really let you in on what it's like to be me, I guess. So the challenge for me is to switch this off a little bit, and I think this is the challenge for all of us, is to switch this off a little bit, to switch off the over-intellectualizing, to just allow in some honest vulnerability, to drop our shields, to be open, to be brave enough to be open. And this is the conflict, or the contrast, I guess, in me, is that I see myself as defiant and courageous, but I'm shit scared of letting people into my experience of life, of the challenges of business, of the challenges of the fears that we all share. So this morning for me was all about buttons getting pressed for me around the fears that I have that I'm not very honest about. So I know for many of you who are embarking on a social media online presence for the first time in your business, you're scared about what other people are going to say about you, and you're scared about people judging you for what you're doing, and you're scared of stepping outside of the shadows and being visible. And I am very visible, I know that, but it has been on a safe footing. I have not since late last year. There was an incident late last year which I can honestly say really did stifle my voice and pushed me back into my box a little bit in terms of emotional honesty and vulnerability. So the honest reality of my experience, the reason why I'm here, the reason why I do what I do, is because I want you to recognize that we all have these fears. I want you to recognize that we all have inner strengths to overcome these fears, and yet here I am staying small, keeping sanitized, keeping it nice, when in actual fact I'm bloody pissed off that I allowed myself to be shrunk. I allowed someone who doesn't matter, the opinion of someone who doesn't matter, shut me down. So some of you know the story. Some of you know the story that, you know, word got to me that some people had decided that because I have an online presence, clearly I have a narcissistic personality disorder and a range of other mental illnesses. Interesting that Steve said to me this morning, does that mean in order to be successful, one needs a mental illness? Does everybody who has success online have a mental illness? Because there are so many people having success online. And yet for me, I even had nightmares the other night about this particular person, or one of these particular people, popping up everywhere I went. Everywhere I was having a good time, this particular person would pop up and have something snarky to say about what I was doing, and it would shrink me back. So the reality is I am very vulnerable to being criticised. I am desperately keen to have people validate and enjoy and like the stuff that I do, because of course it reflects on me. Now, as a kid, and this is why this has all been so triggering for me this morning, as a kid, I had a lot of rejection, a lot of, you know, I was sent away a lot as a kid. And I think I took on this mantle of, if I'm good, if I do well at school, if I stay out of trouble, I won't get sent away. And I got sent away anyway. It didn't matter what I did, I got sent away anyway. And I think that sometimes I fall back into, as we all do, we've all got our own backstory, I fall back into this notion of, if I'm good and if I keep it clean and if I keep it nice, then everything will be okay. But the reality is it can't be okay. I can't show you how to overcome challenges if I can't show you my challenges. Because how are you going to recognize yourself in what I'm trying to tell you? How the hell can I, in all honesty, say to, whether it's my clinical clients or you, don't give your power to someone who doesn't matter, when I'm bloody doing it myself? So I am taking a bit of time to reflect today about just why this conversation with Steve this morning was so impactful, why my eyes have been welling up all day, and why it is so dangerous for me, for all of us, to be real, to be honest, to be vulnerable, to share. What's the worst that can happen if I share the real with you? What is the worst that can happen? You won't like it. You'll stop watching. That's okay. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's all right. And on an intellectual level, I know that. I'm very good at rationalizing all of that. And I think that we all have the capacity to rationalize all of that. But I can't help you. I can't inspire you if I'm constantly rationalizing, overthinking, sanitizing, keeping small, keeping neat, staying in my little box. So I took a brave step and stepped out of the consulting room so that I could help more people via social media, online work. I took a brave step by doing that, and I got smacked big time last year. And I felt I was being really brave in persisting anyway. But when I look back, I can see very clearly there was a time when I was being quite opinionated pretty much every day, and then I stopped. So I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to start again. I'm going to not be everyone's cup of tea and not give a shit about that. I don't need everybody to like me, but I do need to know that I'm being faithful to the message that I'm trying to share with you. Yeah, my tagline is the psychology of business ownership. How can I help you with that if I'm not being honest? So I think I'm seeing there's lots of comments, and I'm going to come back to you about the comments, because I think if I distract myself with the comments now, I'm going to intellectualize again, and I'm trying really hard not to do that today. So You know, Steve said to me this morning, and he was right. He said, you need to hear this. You need to hear that I won't work with you anymore if you're not prepared to be vulnerable. And, oh my God, you know, he's going to see me crying because he said that. Shit. And that's all of that vulnerability, all of that fear encapsulated in one sentence that goes right back. And so we all have these. We all have these buttons that get pressed, and we all have moments where we squash it down, and we all have skills that we use to tidy it up, to keep it safe. But that's not how business is. That's not how life is. That's not how humanity is. It is not all pretty. It is not all safe, and it is definitely not all tidy. And if I try to present to you a picture of perpetual tidiness, perpetual got my shit togetherness, I'm not presenting you with a real message. I'm not presenting you with something that you can relate to. I'm not presenting you with something that's authentic to what I want you to know. So I'm not going to be crying every day on social media, but I am going to be digging deeper. I am going to be using this moment. This is a corner that I am turning. This is the moment that I am. There's a little string of these moments, right, that I've had over the last little while, and this is another one. This will be the moment I look back and go, thank God for Steve. Thank God he held up that mirror. Thank God I listened and didn't get defensive. Thank God I was willing to do what he asked me to do, because this will be the moment I look back on and say, that's when I started making a difference. There might be something in your work that you can do that demonstrates that vulnerability, or that demonstrates that openness to vulnerability, that openness to courage and change. I think, you know, there are going to be people who are going to have a lot to say about this video, and you know what? There's a reason why my nails are painted in the pattern that they are. So those people will particularly like this finger here. Because I don't care. I don't care if people don't like vulnerability. I don't care if I trigger other people's discomfort. I really don't care anymore, because all I do care about is the one person who recognizes in themselves something that I've said and takes that away and makes a positive change for themselves, whether it's someone with a mental health concern, or whether it's someone in business who's feeling isolated, or whether it's someone who wants some kind of inspiration just to take some action for change in their lives. So I'm going to leave you with that thought today. Do something today that steps you into the danger zone. I have created a new hashtag today. This is a test bomb, and there will be hashtag test bombs for you coming up every day. They won't necessarily be this emotional, but they will be real, and I'll be letting you in, and I'll be sharing, because I have to. This is why I do what I do. This is why I'm here, because I want to help you, and I can't help you if I'm not real. So thank you.